Today's lesson is on decimals and estimation. After today, you will be able to fluently add, subtract, multiply, and divide multi-digit decimals using the standard algorithm for each operation. First, for our key idea. To estimate decimal products and quotients, you can round each factor to the nearest whole number. For our first example, we're estimating decimal products and quotients. First, let's look at the Remember box. When rounding, identify the place value being rounded. Then look at the digit to the right. If the digit is 5 or greater, round up. If it is less than 5, round down. So for A, we're going to estimate 12 and 3/10 times 4 and 8/10 by rounding to the nearest whole number. So for 12 and 3/10, we're going to round the 2, so we look at the number behind, which is a 3, and that tells us we round down. So 12 and 3/10 would be 12. For 4 and 8/10, we're rounding the 4, so the number behind is an 8, that tells us we round up. So 4 and 8/10 would be 5, and 12 times 5 is 60. For B, we're going to estimate 62 and 9/10 divided by 7 and 48/100 by rounding to the nearest whole number. So for 62 and 9/10, the 2 is being rounded, so we're going to look at the 9 behind it, and that tells us we round up, so that's going to become 63. For 7 and 48/100, the 7 is being rounded, so we're going to look at the number behind, which is a 4, and that tells us we round down. So 7 and 48/100 would be 7. And now we do 63 divided by 7, and that gives us 9. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. Estimate by rounding each factor to the nearest whole number. So for number 1, we have 11 and 2/10 times 5 and 7/10. For 11 and 2/10, the 1 is being rounded, so we look at the number behind, which is a 2, and that tells us we round down. So 11 and 2/10 is going to become 11. And then we're going to multiply that by, we have 5 and 7/10. The 5 is being rounded, so we look at the number behind, which is a 7, and the 7 tells us we round the 5 up, so it becomes a 6. And 11 times 6 is 66. Now for number 2, we have 26 and 5/10 divided by 2 and 5/10. The 6 is being rounded, so we look at the number behind, which is a 5, and that tells us we round up. So 26 and 5/10 becomes 27. And then we have divided by 2 and 5/10. We look at the 2 is being rounded, so we look at the 5 behind, and the 5 tells us we round up, so the 2 and 5/10 becomes 3. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. Now we have another key idea. When rounding, you do not always get numbers that are easy to use. In this case, use compatible numbers. For our second example, we're using compatible numbers. Our study tips. Study tip is compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute mentally. So for A, use compatible numbers to estimate 48 and 97/100 times 3 and 91/100. When we're looking at this, we're not necessarily rounding to the nearest whole number. We're going to round so it's easy for us to multiply these two numbers. So 48 and 97/100 could be rounded to 50. And 3 and 91/100 could be rounded to 4. And then we can mentally do 50 times 4 and get 200. For B, use compatible numbers to estimate 62 and 45/100 divided by 11 and 72/100. 62 and 45/100 could round to 60, and 11 and 72/100 could round to 12. We can do these two numbers because 12 and 60 are compatible because we can divide them easily. And when we divide 60 by 12, we get 5. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. We're going to use compatible numbers to estimate the product or quotient. For number 3, 38 and 79 hundredths times 9 and 8 tenths. For this problem, we can round 38 and 79 hundredths to 40, and then we can round 9 and 8 tenths to 10, and now we can do 40 times 10, and 40 times 10 is 400. So our answer would be about 400. And for number 4, we have 17 and 34 hundredths divided by 2 and 91 hundredths. We can round 2 and 91 hundredths to 3, so then we need to look and see how to round 17 and 34 hundredths. If we're dividing by 3, we want to round 17 and 34 hundredths to 18, because we can do 18 divided by 3 easily. So 17 and 34 hundredths would round to 18, and then we have divided by, and then 2 and 91 hundredths would round to 3, and 18 divided by 3 would be 6. Don't forget to fill out your notes and remember to watch the video again if needed.